And welcome to Profile Pod TV. I am your host, Double A, of course, back for another epic episode here on the pod. Man, we have a great show in store, as we always do. We have an awesome guest. Man, I've been looking forward to this particular guest, this particular episode. Had it circled on the calendar in bright red marker. So before we get to our guest, just a couple things real quick. Don't forget to subscribe right here on Profile Pod TV. Hit that little button on the bottom right-hand corner and subscribe, man. So show some support. That's one way you can do it. Don't forget to leave the rate and review on Apple Podcasts, all that good stuff. Follow us on Instagram if you're not already. Always love interacting with the audience and the followers and the listeners, man. So much love to everybody who's tuning in. And if you're tuning in on the audio, thank you so much. Let's get right into let's get into it, man. Because I'm chomping at the bit. As you can see, we have my man here, and he's about to drop his new single. And we had a little mix-up earlier, but I thought it was dropping today, which it's not. It's about to drop on the 19th, I believe. And my man is just appeared on the cover of Stilo magazine. He's dropped several singles. He's here to talk about his story, a little bit about upcoming project, what he's got going on. He's got so much going on. I'm seeing him everywhere. And let's get right into it. Without further ado, my man, Mr. Rama. How you doing, brother?
My brother, how are you? Thank you so much for having me. My brother Double A, such an honor to be here and to just be able to chop it up with you, share some stories and talk music and whatever arises, just super cool, man. So thank you for having me.
Oh, yeah, the pleasure's all man. Thank you for taking the time. I can't thank you enough, man, because like I said, man, I've been looking forward to this. And first time I saw you, man, I stumbled upon you, just on Instagram, and I saw your post. I think it was about 2 months ago, and the Seer of the Field, that clip, and I saw that, man. I was like, man, this is freaking dynamite, bro. This is fire right here, man. I gotta hit this guy up. So I was kind of nervous to hit you up at first, man. I was like, yeah, you know what? Fuck, I'm gonna do this, man. So, and you were gracious, man. You were cool, humble, and shit, here we are, man. So, thank you, bro.
Oh, thank you. I'm so happy that you reached out. I mean, that's what it's about, So, I'm really humbled that you reached out. I mean, I was honored that you reached out and that you even want to have me on your show. So for me, it's like I said, it's an honor, and I think it's really cool. And that's what everything's about, connection and reaching out. And we have if we have an instinct or if we have a thought, we can act on it. If it's something like this that just creates unity, creates conversation, I think it's just wonderful. So yeah, thanks for acting on your instinct, bro.
Of course, man. I think that's the beauty of what we do, man, in this world, right? In this world of entertainment and our artistry, and it brings people together. It brings people that I never thought in a million years I'd meet all these people, man, since I started podcasting. And it's been such a epic journey, man. And you're part of that now. And, it's unbelievable, man. It's unbelievable what when people come together, like-minded individuals come together and to create magic, bro.
That's right. Yeah. So beautiful. And I mean, and with the power of the internet and social media and how things are moving right now, and just to be able to connect with people for instance, you and I didn't meet on the street. We didn't meet at an event. We didn't meet at somebody's house. It's like we met in cyberspace. It's unbelievable. It's quite unbelievable. It's remarkable.
I trip out on that a lot, man. I do trip out on that a lot. I think as a matter of fact, bro, I would say, man, I'd say I've done 90 episodes now. This is, I think, my 94th episode.
Congratulations.
I think I've met like 4 or 5 of my guests in person, with the exception of my family and cousins and brothers and stuff like that. But yeah, man, it's interesting, bro. But it's a beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful thing, and it's the age of the age of technology, as they say. But man, I wanted to get into right away, man, your single that you're about to drop, the one that I thought was dropping today.
Yeah.
Stay Calm.
Stay Calm.
Yeah, how do you feel, man? I mean, you're a couple days away from dropping that single. What are your thoughts right now? What's going through your mind, bro?
Oh, I'm super excited. I really love this song. It's really bouncy, and you know you got the sneak peek, which is really cool. And there's a video with it, so I'm dropping uh, the song and the video at the same time. It should be released on the 19th at about 9 p.m. or so. I'll probably come on the Instagram live and just say, hey, it's time. It's about to drop. Come check it out. But I feel real good about it. It's a really awesome song, and it's different from the last four songs that I've released. It's different but the same. It contains the
Mhm.
same aspects, but it's a little bouncier. It's a little more playful. It's a
Okay.
little more fun. I mean, you heard it. If you can, I'd love to hear what you think. Compared to the other songs. It's just this one's just a little more bouncy. It's a little more fun. It's a little more, and like lifestyle. Talking about my hometown as well.
Yes.
And there's some consciousness in there, like some political consciousness, some spiritual consciousness, all the aspects of that all the ingredients that go into the pot when I'm cooking, they're all there too, uh,
Yeah.
but it's a little bit different. So it's and that's one thing about music that I love, is that you can, I want to be someone who is always kind of changing and transforming and transcending and moving into something new, redeveloping, regenerating, recreating, just kind of always doing something new, and so I feel that, I want to explore different types of sounds. And so this was just kind of straying into a different sound and starting to explore some other stuff. And a lot of my music is going to be different from the last song that you hear. So, and I really, I put a lot of thought into them. And so I sit back, I really process, the beginning, the ending. It's like I feel like I'm writing a book, when I'm writing a song,
Hey,
and
yeah, I was gonna say, Rama, that it seems like you're with this five singles that you shared with me. You know, they were all different, yet they were all kind of connected. Like, it was kind of like a lineage, an evolution.
yeah.
With each song, man, and with Stay Calm, kind of, it was a continuation of that. I think it was different, yeah, like you said, but yet it was kind of it tied into everything else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's kind of my interpretation, man. But I think everything that you do is I love everything that you do, man. So
Thank
I think it's great. I think it's gonna hit. This coming Friday, right? Friday
you. Yeah.
night. You said 9 p.m.
Right. Yeah.
And yeah, so congratulations on that upcoming
Thank you,
release,
bro.
man.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm excited for it, and yeah, and hopefully, we can unite forces to get some people to come and check it out. Please feel free to share the link. Whatever.
Oh, you know I am, bro. Come Friday, I'm dropping that thing. I'm gonna, it's good. It was coincidental that it dropped this week that we're doing the episode here on Profile Pod TV. It's an honor, man, for me, and to kind of coincide with that.
Oh, I think it's really cool. I think it was awesome. And I looked at the calendar and I was like, oh, my producer Javi Lopez, he wrote me a message. He saw song drops. I thought it was the 16th, because I know that I had told you it was the 16th, but it is the 19th. And so I thought it was the 16th, and I was like, oh, that's the same week I'm doing the podcast with Double A. So I'm like, oh, that's perfect. So yeah, that's awesome. It's all.
And shout out to my man Javi Lopez, man. Super talented, man.
Yes.
I'd love to talk to him at some point, man. But
Oh, absolutely.
um,
Definitely have him on. I'd love for him to be on. It would be great. He's an amazing producer. He's worked with a lot of people, has a lot of amazing music. I mean, his catalog is crazy, crazy fresh, you know?
wow, wow, I would love to see that catalog, man. But Rama, man, tell the viewers a little bit about yourself, man. Kind of where you grew up, and what you're doing now. Yeah, let us know, man. Give us
Right.
the skinny on everything, man.
All right, cool. Well, my name is Miguel Rama Torres. Miguel Torres, my birth name. Rama is my spiritual name. And I grew up in the city of Santa Monica, west side of Los Angeles, about 20 blocks from the ocean, uh, you know, hanging out, in the street, and then also hanging out at the beach, and then hanging out at the mall, and, just doing the whole kind of west side Los Angeles kind of lifestyle thing. And, I had a beautiful, beautiful childhood. I grew up in a neighborhood, but it was a dope neighborhood, and Um, I'm a cinematographer. I'm also a cinematographer besides being an MC and photographer. It's just a, different passions of mine. I'm a graffiti artist. I love graffiti. Um, and I love the MCing, and there's just like so many things I love. I love meditation and yoga. I don't know if I shared that with you. I love traveling. Me and my wife, we travel all over the world. We visit different countries and different, sacred sites and different like places of the world that that are just like worth traveling to, and checking out, and so to expand, and so yeah, so that's pretty much me, Miguel Rama Torres, from the west side of Santa Monica. I've been an MC for many many years. I had a long period of time where I stopped rhyming, where I didn't record any music, probably like 12 years, I think, where I didn't 12 13 years where I didn't record any music at all. um, and just recently I started developing this new sound, which is the songs that we've been referring to, and that's where we're at right now.
Yeah, man, no doubt. Santa Monica is such a unique place, man, because if you're an artist, if you're any type of artist, man, that is like, I would say, correct me if I'm wrong, Rama, that was like, it's like, I would imagine it's like a playground for an artist to grow up right there, man. You got Venice Beach nearby. I mean, Santa Monica in and of itself, it's a tourist attraction. You got, I mean, all kinds. You got the beach, you got the ocean, you got, the Ferris wheel, you got the pier, man. I mean, visually, you got graffiti, you got, I mean, everything you would want, right? I mean, geez.
It's really stunning. I got to say, it's I'm biased. I grew up there, what I mean, and I'm here now. I'm right by it, so it's like, I'm biased, but like I said, I've traveled all over the world, I've traveled on my own, and me and my wife traveled a lot, and we've seen a lot of places, and yeah, there's a lot of beautiful beaches and this and this and that, but no matter where I've been, I've come to the point where I'm like, be nice to be back in Santa Monica right now, because there's just certain things. It's just very eclectic, and it's not just Santa Monica. It is, like you said, it's Venice. It spreads out into West LA, Culver City, this whole little area here. It's
Yes.
quite a really beautiful, different kind of area. And yeah, we have the beach, we have the mountains. Like you can go hiking.
You got Malibu close.
Yeah, the beach is
nearby.
right there, and then you have like all the mountain ranges and stuff, so you can be out in nature real quick, and or you could be out in the city. I could get to downtown in 10 minutes. I'm downtown
Exactly.
in 10 minutes, so everything is really, location wise, everything is nearby, and just a beautiful place to grow up. The weather is amazing, and there's food from all over the world, so you can find anything, just get anything anywhere you want, just anything, like I'm a vegetarian, for instance. So like for me,
Oh
vegetarian
yeah.
everywhere, it's not hard to be a vegetarian out here. There's food everywhere, you can
Yeah.
grab different stuff. So yeah, it's just like I said, I may be biased, but for me, it's a beautiful place, and I do love it. And it's an amazing place for artists, because a lot of amazing artists, are from here. A lot of graffiti artists. That's my
Yeah.
line of knowing. But like a lot of amazing graffiti artists and musicians and actors and all, different forms of the arts. But they come
Yep.
from this area. So it's a beautiful place. Yeah.
No doubt, Rama. And I've had my fair share of hanging out down there and stomping those grounds, man, because, well, first of all, back in the early 2000s, yeah, about 02, 03, there was a yoga studio, it might still be there, Power Yoga.
Yes.
And I used to go there like every other week or so. And coming from the SGV, San Gabriel Valley, I would make that trek all the way out to Santa Monica just to go do yoga, man. And gosh, it was right there off of it was near the market. There was a marketplace right there, outdoor market.
Yeah. Yeah. It was on Senate. Well, there was two locations. What time frame was this?
This is like 2002, 2003.
Yeah, so there was two locations. There was one location on Second and
Okay.
in Santa Monica Boulevard, and then the second location was on Fifth in Santa Monica. It was upstairs.
Man.
Was it upstairs, the location?
No, it was first floor,
First
downstairs,
floor. Yeah. So you went
street
to the one
level.
on Second and Arizona.
Yes, man. I
Second.
still have the yoga mat I bought from there, man. It was like a $60 yoga mat. In fact, my wife uses it she's working out on it, literally, man.
That's awesome. We got to get you back on that yoga mat.
Definitely, man. No, you're right, bro. You're right.
Yep.
But and then what's
Brian Kest,
that?
Power Yoga. That was one of the first.
What's his name?
Brian Kest.
Yeah,
Yeah,
bingo.
Best Power Yoga. That's one of the first yoga studios in Santa Monica. And besides being one of the first yoga studios in Santa Monica, because there was others in the West Side, Venice area, but this particular yoga studio was different because it provided a different type of atmosphere. And you know, because you went, it was a donation based yoga,
Yes.
which is really beautiful because it really brings it back to that real aspect of yoga. Yoga, you did a little yoga, so maybe the word yoga means unity,
Yeah.
right? The actual
Yeah.
word means unity. So having a studio that's donation based promotes unity like nothing else. That's like saying everyone is welcome. You have $1, come in. You have no dollars, come in. So so it's so beautiful. So there was
Absolutely.
not many donation-based studios. There was actually another one that came after that was really popular that closed down, because of COVID. Unfortunately, like most yoga studios and most businesses, in
Yeah.
general. Bhakti Yoga Shala was an amazing yoga studio, and the founder and director and owner of that yoga studio was a teacher at Brian Kest Power Yoga.
Wow.
Yeah. His name was Ira. You may have known him. I'm not sure if you knew him.
Gosh, man, it's been so long, bro.
Long time.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
but that's really cool that you studied yoga. Yeah, that's
yeah,
awesome. Yeah,
yeah.
I'm a yoga teacher. I teach yoga. I
Oh, wow.
teach meditation and different aspects of yoga, as meditation being one of the aspects of yoga. Other modalities that are, such as, rituals and breath work, pranayam,
Mm.
mantra, Sanskrit, these different types of things that you may be familiar with.
Yeah, you mentioned mantra. I saw your interview with Long Beach Carlos
Oh,
on that live, and you mentioned mantra, man, and you inspired me, bro, because literally that next morning, or I might have been the next morning, because I take my girls to school, right? And I was like, you know what, I'm going to try something. I want to try to get my girls kind of relaxed, and I'm going to play some mantra in the mornings. And I was doing that for a couple days, man, and kind of since evolved into Frank Sinatra. In fact, my daughter tells me, put that music on. And it's the Pandora radio, Frank Sinatra radio.
yeah.
And I changed the station today, and she's like, Dad, put that back on. I like that music. It was Frank Sinatra radio. Anyways, but yeah, man, that mantra, and you were really talking, you got into a lot of that stuff in that interview, but yeah, I practice yoga. I mean, right now it's minimal, but I do just stay connected because, and not only that, and meditation. I try to meditate as much as I can, mindfulness and stuff like that. But yeah, man, that's I got to get into one of your classes, man. Shit.
We need some studios to open up so we could have some classes for sure.
Yeah. Well, I think we're trending in that direction, though. Thank
You know what
God.
you need to do, Double A? You need to come to India with us. Me and my wife lead retreats, and we take people and groups of people to India. Well, we go to different parts of the world, but India's on the lineup coming up. Be one of the first places we go to. Yeah, you'd love it. It's a beautiful journey that we do. It's a 10-day, 12-day journey, and we teach you yoga at the source. We go to Rishikesh, India, which is in the lower Himalayas, right on the Ganges River, and
Wow.
we're outside of town in a beautiful retreat center. And we practice yoga every day. We meditate every day. We dip in the Ganges every day. We
Gosh,
visit
that's beautiful.
beautiful sacred sites that are up in the Himalayas there. And, it's just a really, really journey of evolution. So yeah, you're invited if you ever want to come. Definitely.
Wow.
Or anybody, if anybody is interested, hit me up. But you're invited, brother. Yeah.
Thank you, bro. No, that's beautiful, man. India, shit. I got to do that, man. I got to do that. But yeah, man. And then, but going back to the West Side, my cousin he lived over there off of Santa Monica and Granville. I don't know if you're familiar. Oh, right near University High School, right across
Yeah, Uni. Yeah,
down
yeah,
the
yeah,
street,
yeah,
Uni
yeah.
High.
By Uni High.
So we
You
do, we
over
would,
by offsides.
yeah, we would party, man. That whole, we'd go to the Room down there. We'd go to Renee's. I think there was a place, the
Renee's.
Circle Bar. I think was a place.
Yeah.
Yeah, all those spots, bro. This was early 2000, man.
It's amazing. Yeah, I used to go to those places too. Circle Bar is closed now. Maybe it opens up. Renee's, that place was really cool. That place is gone now. That
Gosh,
place is,
really?
yeah, that place is gone. It's something new now, you know. But
You,
it's
you remember Tempest?
Tempest. Oh, that name sounds familiar. If I knew the location, do you remember where it was?
I want to say it was on Santa Monica. Gosh, supposedly the owner of that was the Tempest. Her name was Tempest, the girl from one of the actresses from the Cosby Show. Remember the
Oh,
old Cosby Show?
Tempest.
Tempest Bledsoe, I think is her name. One of
Yes.
the I forgot her name on the show,
I do
but
remember Tempest. You know where it was? It was on 11th and Wilshire. I think it
okay,
was across the
I
street
think
from
you're right.
El Cholo, I think, from
From where?
a restaurant called El Cholo.
Yes, that's
I
it.
think, yeah. I
Yeah, yeah. Wow, man. So I'm familiar with your stomping grounds, bro. You know, man. And
think.
let's talk a little bit about your name, Rama. Which I have some notes here, man. Rama is an incarnation of Vishnu, God of protection. Vishnu is one of a trinity of the three most important Hindu gods: Brahma, the creator; Vishnu, the protector; and Shiva, the destroyer. Right?
Yeah.
Rama, the seventh avatar of the Hindu god Vishnu. His adventures, notably the slaying of the demon king Ravana, are recounted in the Vana Parva of the Mahabharata in the Ramayana, the oldest Sanskrit epic written sometime in the 5th century BC. Does this have any parallels with your adoption of the name Rama?
Yes, yes. Yeah, lots of parallels. Actually,
Okay, yeah.
yeah, speaking of yoga and speaking of mantra, and speaking of India, it's actually all connected. Everything I just shared with you, my name and everything you just shared with me, it's just all intertwined. The place Rishikesh that I mentioned, where we do
Yes.
camp, that's where the Ramayana, which one of those scriptures, it's the Mahabharata and
Okay.
Ramayana. And the Mahabharata, Bharata is another name for, it's the ancient name of India. India was
Oh.
known as Bharata.
Oh,
That
wow.
was the name. And it wasn't just like the region that you see now. It was a wide region. It encompassed a lot more, including, Pakistan and areas up going up into Asia, more, the Himalayas. It was all known as Bharata. So it's the Maha, and Maha means great, great.
Okay.
So Mahabharata means the great India. And
Mm,
that's the, an ancient, it's the oldest of the Puranas, which are the Puranas are a series of books that make
okay.
up they make up one larger volume. Like the Vedas is an older, the Vedas, for instance, predate these books that you're mentioning. The Vedas are a series of books that form one body of information, and that body of information is a school of thought. So the Ramayana that you mentioned in there, my name Rama, actually, the name Rama is in the title Ramayana,
Yes.
and the Ramayana is the story of King Rama, which is the person who I'm named after, King Rama. And so the Ramayana is a story of Rama and his wife Sita and another deity known as Hanuman, who's often depicted as a monkey with a tail, and people might refer to Hanuman as the monkey god or the monkey deity.
Okay, yeah.
And Hanuman is so it's just a story of King Rama and Sita and Hanuman, and you mentioned Ravana. It's Ravana, King Ravana.
Ravana.
King Ravana had 3 heads, and he lived in like Sri Lanka, like South India, and that was like his whole domain, And so all these stories are all intertwined into my name. And then Vedically, through Vedic astrology, my name is also that in Vedic astrology, Rama. So I am Rama in Vedic astrology. If I was to go to an astrologer, they could see that my name is that in my Vedic chart. Um, so my name Rama was given to me by my teacher in India, actually, while
No
while
shit.
I was in India studying. My wife and I studied in India for a lot of years. We would travel to India and spend, 3-4 months at a time there and study in the Himalayas. We both underwent a lot of different trainings and for like I said, different modalities of yoga, physical yoga, things that you would practice in power yoga, the
Yeah.
movement. That's one small aspect of yoga is the movements, the asana, the breathe. And then there's like the pranayama, just breath work with no movements, and breath work with movements, and meditation, and then the mantras as well, the mantras, the chanting or the recitation of mantras. So yeah, just different levels, and also like rituals, a lot of different rituals. These are like the oldest rituals that exist, and all other rituals on this planet are kind of based on these rituals, or they've taken from this being the source. So yeah, my wife and I went to India often, and we still continue to go, but we were studying for many years, and we continue to study. We continue to study with our teachers. As evolutionary and lifelong students, because that's really where it's at. We're all just students of someone, so, and
Yeah.
even the teacher is a student of someone, right? So we're all just kind of students. And so as a student of a teacher in India, it's customary when you travel to India and you spend time in an ashram, in an academy, in a home with an Indian family, let's say. Like if you went to India on your own and you ended up anywhere in India, you could go to any part of India, and in 5 minutes somebody will take you in. In 5 minutes somebody will take you in. Yeah, they're just the kindest people. I mean, you have all types of people everywhere. You know what I mean? But generally, it's customary to host, to take in, to feed. People get fed everywhere there. So, and it's customary to take someone in, feed them, get to know them, and say, this is your home too now, and then give you an Indian name, give you a name that has a different connotation than like what you're used to, like your birth name or whatever,
Yeah.
Because especially for somebody like myself, who's, from America, from Los Angeles going to India, anybody from out here, from the States or we're known as Westerners in India, they call it Westerners. And so Westerners, that's us. We come there, we have different mind states. We grew up differently. We're culturally different. There's so much stuff that we do that's different, but we have no idea that we're different. We think we're it. Like we think we think we know everything. We think we got it. We think we got everything sewed up. Oh, we did it here. We built it. We did, and it's not true. That we're a young country. And we're an amazing country for sure. But there's so many things in the world that have been established, and there's so many things to go look at, and so like if you went to India, you'd be taken in 5 minutes. They'd feed you in 5 minutes, and they might even give you a spiritual name. In my case, I studied with someone, and This person became my spiritual master, my teacher, my guru, a guru, right? I have several gurus. This is one of my physical gurus that's in the body. And so I received the name, and I accepted the name. And then there was a practice that came along with the name, that you have to do an austerity. There's something that you give up. You take this name on, and you do an austerity to take the name on. And so I accepted the name Rama, and then did an austerity to let it sit into my being. And now that's my name. I go by that name because like my birth name has ideas and concepts attached to it. Right. So like if I hear your voice, if you were my buddy from the age of 9 to 11, right? I remember your voice. Right.
Mm-hmm.
If you're my buddy at the age of 19 to 22, I'll remember your voice. So if I'm on the street and I hear you say, yo, da 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 da, I'm going to know who that is before I turn around. And all the concepts and ideas attached to that person and me, they're all coming back as I'm turning my head to see who it is. All these flashes of you see the face of the person, and that brings all these other memories. I'm not saying it's a negative thing. It could be positive things, but it brings all these ideas, all these and like, oh, whoa, yeah, oh man, we used to do this. We did, so we used to do this. And then what happens often, and we don't realize it, is that it's like a high school reunion. I don't know. I've never been to my high school reunion, but maybe you have.
Me neither.
They say that at a high school reunion, you'll often fall back into the role that you played during that time. Everybody does. You come back to the high school reunion, and the bully who everybody thought was going to be, you know, NFL star, he's not an NFL star anymore. But in that environment, he is. And you may be the successful one now, but you come there and he's roasting you. You know what I'm saying? And so it
Yes.
kind of falls back into that different environment. And this is because of the ideas and concepts that we have attached to who we think we are. So by taking on the name Rama and by presenting myself as Rama, there's no concepts or ideas attached to that name that belong to this body. The concepts and ideas attached to it are they have to do with ancient scriptures, the Ramayana, the Mahabharata. They're attached to Hanuman, the deity. They're attached to Sita. They're attached to Vishnu. They're attached to Krishna, which attaches us to the Bhagavad Gita. They're attached to Rishikesh and the Himalayas. So now we have an attachment that's different. Now the memory and the source of the name brings my mind immediately to a different place. And that place is where I want to be. You know what I'm saying? So that's the name Rama, you know, more or less. And it has a lot of different meanings. It's like I said, King Rama from the Ramayana. It's an amazing story for anybody that's interested, anybody that's watching this right now. If you are interested in learning about yourself, read the Ramayana, or, you know, the Ramayana is one of the books from the Mahabharata. So the Ramayana is an amazing story that talks about, you know, faraway land and a forest and a monkey that talks and a king and a queen that gets exiled and the evil King Ravana with 3 heads. You know, it talks about all these things. But when you really start to study it, you know, you start getting familiar with these characters, and you start learning that all of these characters are you. You're all these characters. And everything that's happening in that story is happening right here, continuously, all the time, every day. You know, everything is represented in the story. You know, I'll even go as far as saying one of the real beautiful things about it that nobody notices, you know, some people know, of course, but India is you have in the north, you have the Himalayas, right? In the north of India, at the very top of India. And then in the south, you have like the very tip, and then it jumps over, and then there's Sri Lanka, right? So in the Ramayana, in the story, the characters travel through Rishikesh, up through India. They come back down. They're down in the south where King Ravana is, and they make it back back up to the north. But what's interesting is that this traveling around, it represents India is the body, and the traveling around has to do with the consciousness that travels to greatness up here, up like third eye. You know, you see the third eye, you know, third eye open. So that means that this area, the mind is illuminated. There's absolute consciousness happening here. So this story is really talking about consciousness rising and then consciousness coming down, consciousness rising. So it's a battle and a story that's happening within a person. The same as the Bhagavad Gita, the story of Krishna. It's an amazing epic, and it's happening during a war and on a battlefield. But the battlefield is in here. You know what I mean? This is the battlefield. This is it. It's the mind. It's the thoughts. The thoughts that take us away from who we really are. The thoughts that try to derail us. The thoughts that try to come in and sabotage us from being our highest, you know, from performing at our best. You know, those thoughts come in as doubt, as ego, as anger, as all these things. It's a disguise, but it's all just one thought. It's just one thought disguised in a million suits, you know? And so,
wow.
Yeah.
That's deep, man. Holy
yeah. What was the question?
Gosh, man. How's your day going? No, I'm playing, bro. Wow, man. That is, gosh, that's great, man, Rama. And now, so with that, Rama, with all that being said, do you, I'm trying to, how could I ask the question? Now, Rama, the MC, that I think that comes across, right? All of that comes across in your music, in your persona as an MC, right? I think when I listen to your music, you know, you have a lot of wisdom.
Thank you.
Coming through, you know. Talk a little bit about how Rama and as an MC and all of this kind of, how does it play into your performances and yourself as a lyricist and as an artist?
Well, good question. The way it plays in is that, I'm just sharing, I'm sharing the teachings that I've learned. Took me many years, and I went to various places of the world to learn a lot of this stuff and from different teachers. And what I'm doing right now, what Rama's doing is sharing that wisdom, whatever it is whatever wisdom it is that I've retained from any encounters with any teachers, masters, gurus, enlightened people, anybody with some sense. It could be anybody. It could be a homeless guy who's got some wisdom and he spits it, but you have to be there to hear it. Somebody has to be there to hear it, because the wisdom's everywhere. The wisdom's all over the place. It's anywhere. It's on my tea bag. Steadiness from character and commitment. You know what I mean? So how many people read that every day and then just fly by what it means? Oh, look at my tea bag. Da, 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 da. So when we're aligned with the teaching, or we're ready to receive the teaching, then that's when, the wisdom is going to pop up. But it's always there. It's always there. So I'm just sharing my heart. That's it. I'm just sharing my heart. I'm trying to share who I am. I'm trying to share some goodness. I'm trying to share some positivity. There's enough music out there that if you don't like what I'm doing, you can go listen to something else. So I'm trying to provide something that's different, that shows a different avenue, that may spark a conversation, that may provoke thought in a young person's mind, in a young person's mind, and may let them know that there's something else out there besides what they're hearing regularly or what they're being shown. And then just that thought alone, whether they like what I'm doing, or they continue to follow me, or it just provokes one thought, it could change the direction for somebody. I know that's one of the reasons that, I started rhyming again and writing these songs for that very point, so that somebody would be inspired, so that somebody could think about it, and I bounce around from different stuff, but like you said, it all kind of ties in, and so I try to create this thought form, and like Seer of the Field, which is the song. If I wouldn't have wrote that song, you and I wouldn't be sitting here speaking. For one, that song, for instance, was the first song that I wrote out of the series of music, and it's kind of like I'm doing an album, but like one song at a time. So I'm tying the theme in, so it's kind of like what I'm doing. And so like with Seer of the Field, there's the hook, the chorus, it says, they say that the chorus says, stay sharp, stay focused, see through the hocus, keep that fly appeal, and feel what you got to feel. So every line, they're all just one-liners, but they're delivering some sort of positivity about, keep that fly appeal. If you think you're fly, then you're fly. Keep that fly appeal. Feel how you gotta feel. Feel how you gotta, but feel something. Feel something. Feel something, because that's the beginning of like, what am I feeling? Now, what do I do with my feelings? But we have to establish that we're feeling something. There's a lot of people who are feelingless, so they can't establish anything before acknowledging that they have feelings. No,
that's great, man. No, the Seer of the Field, Seer is a person endowed with profound moral and spiritual insight or knowledge, man. And I saw that title. I go, Seer, what is a Seer? I went and looked it up, man. I looked when I first saw that clip, and I was like, okay, so that's what that is. Okay, that's what that means, Before
cool
you were, what's that?
That's really cool that you looked that up, because I don't know how many people
bro.
really know what it means, or it's also like a flip on the name Rama and Vishnu. And Krishna is the knower of the field. Krishna, because Krishna is consciousness. So the knower of the field is that which is consciousness. And so I had when I released that song, I had a lot of good responses for it, and a lot of people were saying different things, and I was like, wow, this is really cool, because again, it was one of those songs where I applied different aspects into it, and then tied it in together. So different people feel like it's being spoken to them. So I had one of my friends who immediately told me, he said, I love this song. I play it when I draw now, you know, when I'm sketching in my book. This is so cool that you did a song for artists. And I said, oh, a song for artists. And it is, there's some lines in there that talk about being an artist and talking about, you know, focusing on the craft, just focus on the craft. Success comes regardless. You ain't just an artist. You know, you're a king of a queen or a queen of a king with a dream doing your thing. So the artists heard that and they're like, oh, this is for the artists. And I had other people that, you know, that told me that, oh, this is so dope. You did a song for football players? And I was like, huh? And he's like, yeah, the seer of the field. You're talking about being on the field, right? And how the quarterback has to align and like, so, you know, and all these different. So when I heard that, I was like, wow, yeah, because the seer of the field is you at your highest performance. You know, it's you and you're in absolute consciousness and you can see past the illusion, beyond the veil, right? Beyond the veil.
Man. That's so your other song, yeah.
People can see beyond the veil, you know? Yeah.
That's beautiful, man. You know, and as an ex-football player, I can tell you, I appreciate that seer of the field, man. Yeah, that's great. That's a great interpretation, great application there, man. And, before you were Rama, you know, let's take it back a little bit, bro. Were you Sight Raw before you were with Soldado, or kind of take us back to the chronological order there a little bit? So in your early days of it as an MC.
Well, it all started before MCing. I was a graffiti artist, and as a graffiti artist, I went by the name Sight, S-I-T-E, and gotcha. A lot of people still call me Sight. Lots of people, they refer to me as Sight. So when I hear that name, I know what part of, you know, what time of my life, what period of my life that happened. When it's just, you know, it's a long time ago. So it started with Sight, a graffiti artist, and then when I started rhyming, putting lyrics together, and then kind of just saying, oh, you know, I'm going to be a lyricist. I'm going to start moving into that. I added to the name, I added the word raw, because back then, like I said, you know, I was in ciphers and I was battling, and it was lyricism for me was very raw then. It was just about lyrics and rhyming and hitting punchlines. And, you know, we were, my cousin and I, we had turntables. And so we would DJ in his garage all night. My little brother, who was much younger, he had a keyboard and he was making beats on his keyboard. We had turntables and we were just in the garage every day, every single day, like all night, just playing records. We had like tons and tons of records. And we're just sitting there playing records and crates of records. And so it was all just really like underground hip hop. We listened to everything, but it was like the real lyricism and the real hardcore. That's where we were at. So we were emulating that type of rap, you know. And so the name Sight Raw kind of came from that era of my life where I was very much rapping in a different form, a little hard, like much harder and more direct. And, you know,
I saw that. Yeah.
Raw, then I was an MC for a group that I started called The Second State with my rap partner, The Fraudulent. And me and my
who's the partner? I'm sorry.
My friend Vance, The Fraudulent. He was my rap partner, and we used to rap together. My cousin Desai was our DJ. We had another DJ, also DJ Niche, who was from my graffiti crew. And then my other cousin, DJ Damage, rest in peace. I got to send you his mixtape, by the way. My cousin Damage, rest in peace.
Yes.
Mixtape. I got to send it to you. It's so amazing. He was the most incredible DJ ever. And he was our DJ for a time period as well. And so that Sight Raw came from that. And then that group, Second State, you know, was from a certain time frame. And then, you know, times changed and I kind of moved out of it. Then I started writing some songs in Spanish, which is when the group Soldado formed. And when the group Soldado formed, it was me and my friend Riff, Big Riff from the Filthy Immigrants. He was from another rap group. And then I was from a rap group, and we kind of both moved away from our groups and we just kind of joined up and we started doing this project, this Soldado project. He was producing and putting music together for me, and I was just writing lyrics. And at that moment, I was Sight Razon because I had to switch it up. You know, I always kept the Sight, like, so it was like Sight, graffiti artist. Then I added the Raw, Sight Raw, the MC, right? Yep. And then that made it more of like a unique name as well for a rapper. From there, when I wasn't doing that anymore, I started rapping in Spanish, and I thought, you know, Sight Raw is not a hard name for people to pronounce in Spanish. So I used the name Razon, which means reason.
Reason.
So I used the name Razón. So it was Sight Razón. So I still have the word Ra in there. Sight Razón. And interestingly enough, now I've just dropped that, but I'm Rama.
Yeah. I was thinking that earlier, where sight raw, the raw, the syllable, right? The sound is still in your name, man.
How it's interesting how it was there before that sound, which is it's a bija. That sound is actually a mantra in itself. It's a sound, but all mantras are syllables that are put together to create. So like that particular sound, Ra, was there, and it's very interesting. I find it really interesting. Yeah.
No, yeah, I noticed that, man. I noticed
That's kind of the development of that name. It started in graffiti, moved in through underground hip hop through a certain age period of my life. Then I moved into more creative phase, a different creative phase where I became a solo rapper. And I didn't try because I did that whole album. So Amores Perros mixtape, which is online, and actually it will be available. I'm gonna post the Amores Perros mixtape that I recorded. Is 26 songs, and they're in Spanish and Spanglish. I will post that on my website, and it'll be up maybe in a couple of weeks. The website should be launched same day as the single releases, ramamusica.com. I have merchandise for sale there and different songs and stuff, and other songs that I've done with other artists throughout the years, like singles that I'll have a page that'll just showcase previous music. But I really just want to, generally just focus on what Rama's doing now and this kind of music. But I am going to provide that stuff because I'm getting a lot of people asking and wanting to hear it, and just so people can vibe out to it,
Yeah, no doubt. I was listening to that. Yeah, you sent me the links earlier, and you can see, yeah, man, that your style was different back then, and to what it is now. And what year did you begin emceeing?
Oh wow, 95.
Okay, 95. Wow, man.
1996. I really got organized and started doing like shows in public. 1998, I think, were like the first few. Actually, 1997 was the first show that we did in public. Yeah, 1997 as a group.
1990. Yeah, that was the year I got out of the Navy, man. 97. Wow. What a year. And so yeah, it just but you mentioned how those you can hear a voice, somebody's voice that you've known in the past at certain periods of your life, and then you can hear the voice from afar, and yeah, instantly you recognize it, and everything flashes through your mind. Like you said, that's beautiful, man. I love that, man.
Yeah, nobody's processing these types of things. Nobody's walking around thinking these things, but they're happening constantly. Same thing happens when you see 7-Eleven sign. Or when you see insurance, like whenever you see things, they're constantly, a pizza parlor they used to go to when you were 4. It all is, all the memories attached to that pizza parlor are happening in a flash.
Yeah. There's some psychology going on there as well. And
absolutely.
Right. Ram, I want to get into a little bit with how did you link up with Javi Lopez, your producer, man?
Okay, well, me and Javi are really good friends. We've been friends for a long time, and him and I really we started off around the same time doing, he was a DJ, and I was a DJ actually. He was a DJ and I was a DJ, and we didn't know each other. I started writing rhymes, and I met him through another group of friends that were promoters, and the guy actually, Stilo Magazine. The person who owns Stilo Magazine, the one that I was on the cover on, he was a club promoter in the 90s. Him and another
okay.
friend, yeah, Jesse, DJ Quad, and another dear friend, Fernando, and they were club promoters. And my friend Javi Lopez was friends with them. And when I met them all together, and they were producing music. They were producing music together and experimenting with different types of machines with 4 tracks and 8 tracks, and that's kind of what it was then. We didn't have there was beat machines like SB1200s and MPCs, but we didn't have our hands on those things yet. And I think Javi may be one of the first people that I knew that I was doing music with that got his hands on an MPC. So I met Javi in 1990. 1997, I think, or 1996. Yes.
Is he from Santa Monica as well?
No, Javi grew up in a city just nearby, Culver City. It's just like
Okay.
5 minutes away, 10 minutes away.
Yep.
Like 4 neighborhoods out here, and that's one of the neighborhoods. And so he grew up in a different town, but just right by here. Same lifestyle, same
Yep.
everything, same background. Very similar. A lot of intermingling with all of friends and different relatives, and all this different. Everybody knows each other out here. So anyways, yeah, I met Javi then, and he wasn't my producer then or anything. My brother was my producer. My little brother
Oh,
was
wow.
producing music. He was like 12 years old. My brother was like 12.
What?
Yeah, my brother Marvin. Yeah, he was like 12 years old. And he was making beats for me. And we met these guys, and they were making beats at a different level. So we started kind of working with them, like we were like, oh, and they were doing shows. So we started, doing a lot of performances. And Javi was the DJ at a lot of these performances. And then he had another group. He was from a group called Trilogy. Trilogy was a really dope hip hop group. They did a lot of dope music. My boy O Brown and him and another brother who passed away, Bernard, rest in peace, and Nev, O Brown's cousin. So they were a really cool group. And when we started emceeing and doing our thing on the circuit, we would perform a lot with them. So we performed with Javi Lopez's group all the time, like all the shows we were doing, like Martini Club, Rainbow Room, the Roxy, all these like old clubs that don't exist anymore, really, like Coconut Teasers,
Oh, yeah.
the Key Club, the El Rey, the Key Club, the House of Blues, the Viper Room. These were all nightclubs that we were
Troubadour.
Yeah, the Troubadour. Yeah, bro, we were doing these clubs
Gosh.
once a month. We were somewhere doing something, for
Very
a
cool.
lot of years, and we did hundreds of shows and different tours. But Javi was on the same circuit with me, producing and DJing for different groups. But we were friends throughout that whole time. And every once in a while, we would do a song. He invited me on. First time that me and Javi worked together, he invited me onto his album called Javi Lopez Presents the Four Tracks. Oh, no, actually not the Four Tracks. That was a different one. Javi Lopez Presents Execution Style. And I was invited to be on that album, and that's really when we hit it off. And I was on that album with another MC called Omar Cruz, and his name was Blunt Law at the time. And the name of the song is LA Dark Side. That song's also available. You can tell Alexa to play it for you, or your Google.
Which one is it?
It's called LA Dark Side.
Okay.
Execution Style Javi Lopez. So it's just and so he invited me on his album, and I came on, and we really hit it off, and it was just a great vibe. And so then we just really stayed tight through the years, through the 90s. And then when I left, when like the group Second State, which I started, kind of, it was nothing bad, we just all kind of moved in different directions. When that group kind of did its own thing, Javi gave me a track, and I did another song called Site 100.
Okay.
Site 100. That song will also be on ramamusica.com. It's another cool song that me and Javi did, Site 100. And then we did that song. And so then we've always just kind of been talking about music. We've always been really good friends, involved in each other's life. And then it just came to a point where, things lined up, and we just started recording together. And it's really cool, because we have a really good vibration. Like I said, we've been kind of doing this together for a long time. So we have a lot of similar, like we have references. We could be like, remember that day, remember this club, remember that person. We can reference, let's do this, let's do that. Remember how this person sounded, remember this. And so we have all these points of reference that we could utilize to create good music, to create different sounds. And for me, doing this type of music that I'm doing that's positive, like you can hear these song titles, Execution Style, LA Dark Side, like they're just a whole different vibe from what I'm talking about with Rama, so you can see this big transition that happened. So for me, when I made this transition, Javi was just, me and him were connected in that way where we were just really good friends, and it worked out because I needed to be able to work with somebody who understood what I was doing, that I'm writing certain types of rhymes and lyrics that are expressing a certain type of vibration, and that's
Right.
the vibration that I'm in, and that's the vibration that I want to share. Like I said, there's plenty of the other vibration out there. You could just look out the window and there it is, So I
Yeah.
needed somebody that could build with me And, you know, and Javi hasn't traveled to India. He hasn't done these things, but he's open. You know, he's open-minded, and he's creative, and we just have an amazing flow. You know, I come with the rhymes, he comes with the beats. We get in the studio, and I'm telling you, when we get in the lab, it's like we don't need to talk about it. Turns the mic on and throws the beat on, and we start doing our thing, and it's absolutely beautiful. Yeah. So yeah, that's my boy,
Wow.
my boy Javi. I got to give him his love and his flowers right now. You know, so the people know he's a really fresh producer, and I'm really blessed to be able to work with him.
Absolutely, man. No, yeah, you can see. I mean, you can't create what you're doing with your producer unless there's a great uh, cohesiveness, chemistry. You know, yeah. And you go back and show it comes through, man. I mean, I mean, you've known him so long, and I think that the professionalism and everything. It's just where everything works, man, in unison, and it's beautiful, man. It's beautiful, and
Thank you, brother.
uh,
Yeah,
absolutely,
Javi's a really dope producer. You know, like he challenges me too, though. You know, like within range, my song
yeah,
within range. There's no drums on that song. There's no drums. If you listen to it, you're gonna be
yeah.
you probably don't notice, but if you listen to it, you're gonna say, "Oh wow, there's no drums." So that's like a, you know, he goes, "I got a track for you," and he plays it, and he's like, "There's no drums," and I was like, "All right," and I was like, "I'll take it," you know, because it's the challenge. It's like you got to step up. So you got to come with all, and that's really what hip hop is. It's like graffiti, you know, like it's all like graffiti. You have the wall, and you got the spray paint, and then how do you get the paint up on that wall? How do I do it? You know, how can I express this? And it's a challenge because you know, it's a big wall, and but you can do it, you know, and so, you know, working with him, you know, being challenged and giving a beat with no drums, to me, it's dope. It's like I'm gonna write, I'm gonna fill those pockets in, you know, I'm gonna fill those drum pockets in, you know, and it creates new rhyme patterns, it creates new styles, at least for me, you know.
So, Rama, man, how long have you talk a little bit about Graffiti the City Records, man? How you linked up with them, and you know, when did you sign with them, and all that good stuff, man? Your record label.
So Graffiti the City Records, I've been on the label for a year and a half now. All of the singles are on Graffiti the City Records, and they're all produced by Javi Lopez. And Graffiti the City Records started off as a clothing line, actually. Uh, you know, making these hats.
I've seen, yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're gonna have to bless you with some of these. We're gonna have to send some. We have to have them send you a box.
Oh, wow, man, that would be an
He
honor, man.
started off as a hack company and developed, you know, like most things do. You know, it's like it's that thing where everything is connected, and there's just like everything is like uh different titles and everything, but when you arrive as yourself, and you just weave it all together, you know. Yeah. So even like on my site, ramamusica.com, I'm gonna have my hats, you know, Om Namah Shivaya mantra hats. So baseball, you know, snapbacks with mantras on them.
Very cool, man. Oh, I
Yeah,
can't wait to see.
graffiti stuff too. So just like, you know, different, mixing
That's
the
cool.
worlds, and anything that's artistic, that's positivity, and contributing to that movement. You know, that flow of goodness and positivity, and being part of that energy, and that vibration, and that electric field. You know, um, so.
Exactly. No, no, that's beautiful, man. Great. And how many artists are now with the label, man?
So
Other than
on the label
yourself.
right now is myself, Rama. We have Dalia Coronado, a female MC who's unbelievably amazing. I don't know
I
if
was
you,
checking her out, man. She's fire.
yeah, you got to check too. You know, and I'm a cinematographer, as you know. So her two next videos I shot. So
Oh,
there's two videos that are coming out. It's The Bag, and then there's another one. I'm not sure the name of the song right now, but uh, I shot both of those. And again, you know, just weaving everything together. And then Brevi also just released a song on Graffiti the City Records, and it's called Watch Out. It's really amazing. She's singing, and the beat is you know, it's just absolutely amazing. It actually shows Javi's amazing range. You know, how you can drop this like really hard beat here, or this, you know, like this musical song, you know, the video is amazing too. And Brevi is a very popular female artist. She's done a lot of stuff. She's done stuff with Cypress Hill. She's on a few of their albums. She's done stuff with Eminem. She's on a few of the Eminem albums.
Oh, wow.
A lot of different stuff. So yeah, fortunate to be in good company for me. Yeah,
Wow.
two females. So that's really wonderful, you know.
Yes, was
Goddess energy.
mhm. Of course, man. Of course, this was three artists right now.
Yeah.
Hip hop artists, recording artists. Going back to Javi, man, I want to kind of get in a little bit more into Javi because I'm really curious as to how your creative process, how you guys attack and approach a project or a song. Talk a little bit about how you guys, when you come together, and how do you approach, let's say, just a song. You know, what does that look like for you guys?
Well, my process with Javi is, you know, every producer is different. So you create a different process with everyone. With Javi, it's been a real cool process. I go into the studio, we listen to music, his music, we listen to his beat selection together, and we talk about it. We hear a beat, we hear another beat, and then we might zone in on a beat, and then we might talk about it for a few minutes, and then, you know, by the end of looking for a beat, we might have selected 2 or 3 beats. I like to leave with one beat. I like to leave with one beat. I don't want to leave with 2 or 3 beats. I want to leave with one beat and go create something around that and focus on it and give all my attention to it, you know, grow it, you know, everything, plan it, grow it, and just see it, and then see it come. And then when that's grown and the pot is beautiful and everything, next one, you know, and we have that rhythm. That's one of the pieces of the process right now. We have that rhythm where we come in, we listen to the music, we pick 2 or 3 things out. By the end of it, I leave with none of the 3 beats we picked out. It's usually something that just pops up, and then, you know, I'll go listen to that. And sometimes it's immediate, or sometimes I have to just listen to the music a little bit, or sometimes I get an idea immediately and I'll just start writing to it. And then once I've written the lyrics to it, I may have the entire song written. Usually I have the entire song with the chorus and a hook written as well. And sub hooks. I'll write other little rhymes, and I'll come into the studio and I'll present it to Javi. I'll say, look, this is what I wrote, and I saw it like this, and we record it that way. And then Javi will contribute his ideas as we're recording. I come in with my setup, like, look, my verse, my hook, I thought this, I could do this here, you know, because I have songs. If you pay attention to the songs, they're all really different. Some of them don't have a chorus. I just rap all the way through. Some of them have really long choruses that sound like a rap. Doesn't sound like a catchy hook. It sounds more like a rap. So it's all kind of
Yeah.
different. And so I'll go home, craft this, listen to this, write the song, then come to him with this completed vision, and then, you know, it might just be like that, or he contributes a lot. So, you know, we'll go back and forth, and he'll say, hey, you know, it would sound dope right here. What if we did this? And I'll be like, that's perfect. And you know how I know that it's the right thing to do? Because a lot of the things that he says are things that I had already thought of. They're things that I thought, like, oh, that would be dope if we did this, or what if we dropped the music out here? Just simple little small things. But when he mentions them, then I know that that's what it's supposed to be. And so that's
Wow.
the vibe we have, though, where we're mentioning and talking about the same thing. So it's like, so I could feel comfortable leaving my lyrics with him, walking out, and knowing that whatever he plays for me is just going to be through the roof. It's going to be well put together, and you know, and he's just a master of his craft. So that's the process right now. Knock it out, and then we go straight into the music video. Song is done, mastered. Let's knock this music video up, and then let's drop it. Just like this Friday, you know, drop in Stay Calm. It's the song available on all streaming platforms. Music video, you can go to my Rama Vivo page. I have a Vivo page on YouTube, Rama Vivo, RAMAVEVO. Come there, subscribe if you want to support my movement, if you want to support, listen to my catalog of music, leave me a message, tell me what you think, and subscribe and tell a friend. You know, like I said, this music is embracing and supporting positivity. It's supporting that energetic field. And so if you want to you know, play this for your mom, you can play this for your mom. You want to play this for your 7-year-old daughter, you can play this music for her, because it's kid friendly. You know, it has a lot of things in it, but it has a lot of consciousness and it has a lot of education in it, spirituality. And like I said, just trying to weave all of these things in to bring a positive message to someone's ear, whoever that is,
Yeah.
and bring something positive to them.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Positivity for sure, man. In your music for sure, man. You know, now how so again, you mentioned how you'll be thinking something and then Javi will kind of he'll mention it, he'll say it, he'll vocalize it, what you were thinking. So and you said now kind of validates it, right? And you're like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, so there goes that, there goes that chemistry, man. That you guys are just in line, in tune with each other, and that's a beautiful thing, man. That's a beautiful thing. I think it makes it a lot easier to work together like that, right?
Yeah, it's a real beautiful thing. And then, we're, complete different individuals, you know. Like I said, he's not involved in these practices that I do, and these mantra and all these things, but we have that, but we have that, you know what I mean? And so it's a real great place for building, and it's a real respect. We have a real big respect for each other. And I think that has a lot to do with it, he has a lot of respect for me as an MC. I have a lot of respect for him as a producer. He has a lot to do with me, being here right now and writing songs again. He
Really?
has a lot to do with it. Yeah, he had a few conversations with me where he was like, "Yo, bro, you know, I think you can get out there and say something real positive right now that people, who you are and everything." And so, I got it from my wife. A lot of different people were like, you need to express yourself through this platform again. But yeah, but he's one of the reasons too. So, like I said, the wisdom's everywhere. You got to be there to listen to it and to hear it and then act on it. If it's the right thing to do, if it's what you want to do.
Love that, bro. Love that. Yeah, man. It's you know, Javi. I can't wait to get in touch with his catalog. Number one, and yeah, man, he's incredible. He's incredible. But like you said, he's open. He's open to and receptive to what what your ideals are, and right, the mantra and everything else. And you mentioned, bro, and yeah. So that's a and how long does it typically take? Um, how long does the process typically take for a song to come together from beginning to end for you guys?
Well, it depends. It's really interesting because I could write a song in like an hour. I could write a song, and if it just really depends. Like if you were a producer and you called me right now and you're like, "Hey, I need you to come in the studio at midnight in an hour, right?" And I need it's an emergency. I need you to write a verse, and I need it like in 25 minutes. I'll send you the beat. Listen to it on the way to the studio. I show up to the studio with a written song, you know, because it's just arriving to meet the moment. You know what I'm saying? So the time frame of the song could be months, but the song, because that's when the song's supposed to arrive, So I could write a song and it could be, the lyrics could be from 3 years ago, let's say, right? But that song will be released when it's meant to be released, right? So then you arrive at that moment for the release of it. That's the day of the release, and you've arrived to do the work whenever that was for that. So pretty much what I'm saying is I do the work and then kind of forget about it and then move on. So I don't dwell on certain things, And so I'll record a song, and once the song's recorded, that's it. It's because let's say I have the song written down on a piece of paper, right? Memorize it or whatever. I can read the song off of the paper in the booth, or I can have it memorized, So it all depends. If I memorize the song and deliver it in the booth from memorization, you're going to get a better performance. You're going to feel a lot more from that. You're going to feel the words that I'm saying a lot more because I'm going to mean them a lot more. They're going to be coming from me. If I'm reading them off of the piece of paper, that's still from me, but the transmission is different. So think about that. I could write the song right now and go record it and have, 7 songs out this week, right? I could do one a day. But
Yeah.
for me, it's not even about that. It's about what's the message? Let me get to that message. Let me work on this message. Let me make sure that before this leaves my lips, because once it leaves my lips and I leave it with someone else, That's what it is. So before I go into the booth, it's been refined. It's already been refined like ghee. You know what ghee is?
Ghee.
Ghee is
No.
refined butter. So it's been refined. It's refined, refined, refined. I show up to the studio, it's already refined. It's already like, I'm ready to, these are the words, this is what I'm ready to deliver. I'm not, I'm not scared of what I'm saying. It's like, this is it. I'm here to deliver this message, and
There's no turning back.
no turning back. And if it's delivered from memory, then it's going to take me, I could write a song and maybe memorize it by the time I'm done writing it, because they're my own words, but maybe it's going to take me 2 weeks to really, I want to hear the song. I want to rap the song like I'm performing it before I record it. And I do a lot of that, it's a different process, but I even when I'm writing the songs, I write them as performance pieces. I write them as like I said, like a book. Like it's got a beginning, it's got a plot, it's got an ending, from the beginning of the song to the end. And then I go even more intricate, where I'll do that within a verse, where if that was the only verse you heard, it had a beginning, a plot, and an ending in the second verse as well. So just in case you hear those alone, there's completion. There's like you mentioned earlier, you mentioned Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, right?
Yeah.
The Brahma,
Yeah.
Vishnu, and Shiva, the creator, the sustainer, and the destroyer. So it's similar to that,
Yeah. No. It's gosh, man. That's great. Great. I'm blown away right now, bro. I'm really blown away. And by the way, the Brahma is a bull, right? Brahma bull.
No, the Brahma is so Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva is known as like if you see Shiva, very prominent in my life, obviously, right? Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Shiva right here.
Okay. Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And then there's a trident. You see that trident?
Yeah.
So Shiva holds a trident, right? And on the trident, it's a staff with, and on the top, that three is a interesting number, because you have Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, right? 3, right? So this is known as the Trimurti, the Trimurti, which is the Trimurti is known as like the Holy Trinity, right? So in Catholicism, you have the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit,
Yeah.
right? In this ideology, in the Hindu mythology or Sanatana Dharma, you have the staff that with the 3 on it, right? It's what it is. It's the trident. It has a 3, tres,
Right.
3, right? So it represents three things, and in this case, it represents Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva. It represents the 3 worlds. The below, the land, and above. It represents just anything. So many things that align with the number 3, and so Brahma is the first god, and Vishnu is the second, and then Shiva. Brahma is known as the creator, the creation, the creator. So like everything's being created through Brahma. Vishnu, who has reincarnations, right? We spoke about Rama and all these different reincarnations, including Buddha and Jesus Christ are said to be reincarnations of Vishnu. So then you have Vishnu. Vishnu is the sustaining energy. And then you have Shiva, right? And Shiva is the destroying energy. So you have the God, the generating principle, the organizing principle, and the destroying principle.
Wow.
Everything works off of these 3 principles, right? And it's very much like the breath. Inhale, hold the breath, right? So you inhale as the creation. You hold the breath as you're retaining the breath, sustaining. Vishnu, holding, sustaining. Exhale, the breath is dead. Shiva. And so that's what Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva are. And I forgot, I strayed away from your original question, but Brahma is a god with no reincarnations. Vishnu has reincarnations, and Shiva has reincarnations. And all of these epics that we were speaking about earlier, the Mahabharata, the Bhagavad Gita, the Ramayana, Vishnu and Shiva are in all of these stories as other beings, is reincarnations. So
Reincarnations.
Vishnu is Rama, Vishnu is Krishna, Vishnu is Jesus to some people, Vishnu is the Buddha to others. So there's this, and then Shiva comes in and interacts in those stories with, he is Hanuman, for instance. That Hanuman that I was talking about, it's a reincarnation of Shiva, and Shiva and Vishnu are chasing each other through time. So when you have the Ramayana, you have King Rama, who's there as a reincarnation of Vishnu, and you have Shiva, who can't be away from Vishnu, so reincarnates as Hanuman to be near Rama. There's Vishnu next to Shiva. And so it's really interesting. All this stuff is really deep and has so many concepts and ideas and ways that it works. But it's just primarily, it's like what I said earlier about my name, that even these things, Vishnu, Shiva, Brahma, they're these thoughts, because it's a concept. It's supposed to promote and provoke thoughts so that we can have, so that we can get closer to our higher consciousness,
Man, I'm receiving an education right here, bro. I love it. I love it, man.
We strayed from the music topic.
No, it all ties in, right? It all ties in. I want to kind of switch gears a little bit, Rama, with going away from music a little bit and talk about your experience as a filmmaker and cinematographer. You went down to Mexico to with the GSO Productions, and talk about that experience, man. Going to Mexico to shoot that documentary film, and A League of Nations, the follow up to Mexico Rising, man. How was that? Talk about
That's
that.
awesome. Those were pretty cool. Those are football films, so you're interested in those, huh? That's cool.
I noticed that. Yeah, exactly.
That was really cool. That was a really cool experience. Both of those films tie into each other, and we were in Mexico City for that film. I was the director of photography on it, and it was on location. And it's a really amazing story. It's really a beautiful educational piece on American football, actually, and how American football is changing in Latin countries right now. It's I'm not exactly sure how it is right now because of this last year's
COVID
stuff, but where it was when we made these films, and it was rising, like Mexico Rising. That's what that title means. It means that, it doesn't mean that the country of Mexico is rising. It means that the football world within Mexico is rising, because these kids that are coming from Mexico, and not just Mexico, they're coming from Ecuador and Colombia and Brazil, these amazing football players that would otherwise be overlooked because they're not in America. So now we have these NFL scouts and people who are going into other countries and searching out kids, because now they're playing football in other countries. And it's something interesting. And that's kind of what the movie touches on. It talks about how, you're in America here, the kids have equipment, they have football gear. In Mexico, these kids play with mismatched, they're like costumes almost, because they don't have uniforms. One guy's got this hat and this, and the other guy's got this, all different helmets. Everything is completely.
Yeah.
And that's really what it's like when you're down there filming. You're in San Diego filming the San Diego team, and they're just like sparkly, and everything is brand new. Everything's brand new and sparkling white. And then you go down to Mexico and you're filming the opposing team, and they're on a dirt field. They're on a dirt field. It's just dirt, and it's like an inch of dirt. It's just dirt, and
right.
Nobody has a matching uniform. Nobody has a matching piece of equipment. But the heart, again, we go back to the heart of the players, and because it's not about the equipment, right? It's not about the equipment. It's really about the heart, because, and football, it's a learned sport. Any of this can be learned. Basketball, we can learn any of this, but without the heart, without meeting, without having the intention to arrive to the moment, to meet the moment, without showing up, there's nothing. So all of this stuff is learned behavior. So without the heart, there's nothing. And so this movie touches on the heart of these athletes that don't have. They're already, they're showing up with only their hearts, because they don't have the equipment. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so that's what this film is about. And it's really beautiful. And it just kind of shows the rising of American football. And, and the cinematography aspect of it was really cool, to be on location. And I've traveled to a lot of countries and filmed a lot of movies. I've filmed in India, uh, filmed in Ecuador. I have a film coming out soon, directed by Kamiko Hayashi, called The Roots Awaken. Filmed that in the Ecuadorian Amazon, and we traveled all through Ecuador to film that. And that's about Earth, and the
Wow.
planet, and shamanism, and Mother Nature, and the Amazon, and breath, and life, and which is another amazing. All of these things could be on, can be seen on my cinema website, ramatorres.com. I'm a documentary filmmaker, and like I said, I love making films. I love documenting. It's got to be similar to you, doing your podcast. It's just you get to know people, things you wouldn't know. You get educated and you learn, and ultimately for what? To grow, right? So we're growing from speaking to each.
Absolutely.
We're growing from being around each other, from this human connection, and so that's the type of films I like to make too. They reflect who I am as well. They're films about connection and positivity and people rising. People rising. There's nobody falling. We're just rising. You know what I mean?
That's awesome, bro. No,
Yeah.
and going back to the football being played in Mexico, yeah, and football, American football has been growing. The sport's been growing for, I mean, decades now, and it's huge out there. It's huge, man. And we're getting, there's a couple of Mexican born players now in the NFL. They're getting, going to colleges in the United States. And the game is really, really growing, man. And where can I watch? Where can we watch those documentaries?
Well, this one, um, the Roots Awaken is still in post production right now, and the Mexico Rising, I believe. Let me see where that's at exactly, because I know that it was floating around with the NFL for a little bit or something, and I don't know exactly what's going on with that. But I do have a film that's going to be released, I believe, next month, April, at the end of April. It's called Woman of the White Buffalo, and that's a film that I shot here in the States, in South Dakota, on the Pine Ridge Reservation. I went there. It was 2018, and we lived on the reservation for several months while we documented the stories of the Lakota females, actually, to be exact. And so it's a really beautiful piece on the Lakota women, talking about the beauty of the Lakota, the hardships of the Lakota, the land, the history of the Lakota, and it's all from a woman's perspective. It's a really beautiful, beautiful piece, and that's going to be released next month. It should be on, I'm not sure if it's going to be on iTunes or if it's going to be on Netflix, but it is going to be released next month. If you want to stay looped in on that, again, just find me at Sierra the Field. Come to my website, drop me an email, and I'll keep you posted, so that if you want, Double A, you can talk about it. And like I said, we can come back some
Please
other time.
do.
I'd love to talk about, even, once you see the film, we can talk about the film and talk about everything related to that, because it has a lot of content, and it's just a whole beautiful subject matter that we can discuss and create some consciousness around it.
Please do, man. Keep me posted on all that, man. And because I've done, I love
It's a
movies,
film,
man.
so
I've
yeah, I'm
loved
really.
filming. Oh, are you cut? You there, Rama? You there? You cut out there, brother.
Yeah, I think
There
did
you
you?
are.
Yeah. So I was saying that I'm really, internet connection is. So I was saying that, yeah, I'm really excited for the release of that. Woman of the White Buffalo should be released next month. Again, I'll keep you posted on the release date and any information, so that people can get a direct link to go watch it. I'm the director of photography on it. I also shot all the aerial cinematography on the film. And it's just a really beautiful piece, and I'm excited to share it with everyone.
Wow, wow,
Yeah.
man. Yeah, please keep me in the loop on that, Rama. Please do. But you've done a lot of profound work as a filmmaker as well, man.
Yeah, it's
Wow, impressive, man. That's really
showing up.
impressive, man.
Thank you.
No, because I love filmmaking. I love all the arts, Rama. I love all the arts, But in particular, filmmaking. I've done some acting myself. I was on Mad TV.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was. If you recall that show,
I
it was on
do. So you're a comedian.
Fox. What's that?
You're a comedian.
Yeah. Well, no, actually, if you want to hear my 2-minute stand-up set, I
I'd
can do.
love to.
No, no, believe it or not, I was a Jose Canseco lookalike,
Oh, wow.
and I played. It was during the whole steroid scandal in the early 2000s, and it was basically a skit on that. I wore the uniform, and then one of the cast members, Ike Barinholtz, played Rafael Palmeiro, the other baseball player. You can check it out on YouTube. I'll send you the link. As a matter of fact,
Please
I'll
do.
send you
I'd
the
love
link.
to watch that.
2000. This was 2005, bro.
Oh, that's
So,
awesome.
anyways, point being, man, I've done some acting. I've done some independent films. I've done some student films, and I was actually did a lot of work as an extra. And so I love all that stuff, bro. I love all that, man. And but yeah, I can't wait to see those films, man. And I'll definitely be, you know, asking you, picking your brain on as to when and where, and to be just so I can be kind of stay abreast of all that stuff, man. Your
Yeah,
filmmaking
please
as
do.
well.
There's a few more coming. I have those coming. I also have
Gosh.
another documentary that I'm still working on right now. It's the story of Tom Hayden, Senator Tom Hayden. And it's a really amazing documentary. And that one's like, I think we're about, I don't know, 65% done. So we still got a little bit to go. So maybe at the end of this year, next year. And there's another, I'm working on a lowrider documentary that talks about the origins of lowriding. It's called West Los Documentary. I'm also shooting that film, and it's about lowriding culture, the origins of lowriding culture in the west side of Los Angeles, where I live in these neighborhoods here, Santa Monica, West Los Angeles, Culver City, and Venice. So it talks about how lowriding originated in these cities and how long it's been around. And we interview different people, significant people in the lowrider community, and talk about the lowriding aspect of life and how it developed and where it started, and how it was here on the west side for a long time ago. A lot of people think that lowriding started in the east side, and I think this film is going to really show people something different about lowriding. It's really cool. So yeah, that's another film that I'm working on. So yeah, a bunch of different stuff coming on. So yeah, just stay looped in, and and check my links, and anybody out there listening, again, just come to my website, come to my link, my Instagram. I talk about it. You can see all my different posts. I'm talking about music. I'm talking about films, talking about yoga, all this stuff.
The whole gamut, man. You cover the jeez, man. Unbelievable, man. And when are you gonna start your podcast, bro? Like the only thing you don't got going right now, man.
I
Jeez.
like being a guest. That's cool.
Yeah, right. Add one more thing to your plate,
Cool.
man. Add something else to your plate, Rama. Go ahead, bro. Hey, no, I was gonna I lost my train of thought, but yeah, what was the and I'm sure you'll be publicizing all of this on your, like you said, all your links, your website, your social media, and what have you, right? I
Yeah.
think you'll be conveying those messages out and
Yeah, absolutely. My my Instagram's a main hub for things. My Rama Musica is gonna, my website's gonna be a main hub, because from there I'll have links to other things, to like my store enamel collection. My brother and I are opening up the Rama merchandise, so it'll be under enamel collection. There'll be a link to that. You want to go to Graffiti the City, there'll be a link to that. The Om Namah Shivaya hats, my mantra hats will be on sale on my website, and everything happening. And then as far as like film stuff, go to ramatorres.com. That'll be my cinematography website, where you can see, different projects that I've worked on, even my photography work. There's just different stuff on there. So,
man, it's awesome, bro. That's awesome. And what's your website?
ramatorres.com, ramatorres.com. That's for my cinema, reel and different photography and stuff. And my music page is ramamusica.com, ramamusica.com, ramamusica.com.
Got it, man. I wanted to clarify that. So there's two separate websites, one for music, one for all your film stuff. Two more questions, Rama. You've experienced success, a lot of success up to this point, man. Talk a little bit about some of your challenges, some of the struggles, some adversity that you've faced through this journey, and what were some of your strategies, some of your, methods to overcome some of those challenges and struggles?
Good question. Well, yeah, just like just like everyone, we all experience hardships, and especially right now, I can't say that there's a single soul on the planet that can say that they haven't had some sort of hardship even in this last year, right? And
Oh yeah.
and so, like, let's say we had some hardships this last year, we can carry those hardships with us and talk about them for the rest of our life, right? Or we can transcend that because it's those hardships are, it's only there while it's there, and when it's not there, it's no longer there. So if you're just talking about it, dwelling on it, then that becomes your story, you know and then that story just becomes a repetition over and over. You just start telling the same story everywhere you go. And so even hardships, we have to look at hardships as, what are hardships? What are they doing there? Everything is just, if you just look at nature, it's not summertime all year round, right? So when winter comes, there's a beauty in it. Yeah, it's cold, right? There's cold and it's a little darker and it's rainy, but there's this beautiful aspect of it, right? So you can
Yes.
embrace that rain, you can embrace that cold winter. It doesn't have to be a cold winter. It might be, but you can embrace it, and see what's there to grow from. What's there for me to what can I take from this, and how can I grow from this? How can I become a better man, me, or for anybody else, how can I become a better person? How can I take this that I just went through and expand from it, and often I got to tell you, man, I got to tell you that every time we think we're going through a hardship, there's someone else that's going through a real hardship,
Yeah.
like a hardship that'll embarrass you, that you thought you were even in a hardship. You just,
Absolutely.
just turn red to be like, oh, sorry, like, sorry, I
Yeah.
didn't know you were going through that. I'll just leave now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so my point is that we all experience hardships, and it's just like, how do we deal with the hardship? What are we going to do with this? Are we going to take this and make it a story that we just start telling the whole world all the time? Because in that story, you just start carrying it with you. For me, it's about dropping those stories, dropping the dead weight, dropping, if there was some hardships, take the hardships and smile. um, I lost my mother in Christmas Day of 2007.
Oh wow.
And a lot of people, when they hear that, they go, oh, I'm so sorry, but they didn't do anything. So what are you sorry about, right? One. Two, a lot of people say, wow, Christmas must be a really hard day for you. Right? Like, Christmas must be, it's actually a really beautiful day for me. You know, when I really process the fact that my mother passed away on Christmas Day, to somebody else, it might be like, this is horrible. I can't ever celebrate Christmas again. For me, when I really paid attention to when my mother passed, I looked at the fact that it was a really beautiful and special day, and that the entire world was quiet and in some form still and in peace. Everybody, like, not everybody, but the general population is in some form of Christmas spirit. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
And so
Yes.
this is the time my mother's body chose to leave this planet. How is that a sad moment? How is that not sacred? How is that not just unbelievably a miracle? So it really is, how do we look at it? So somebody else is feeling sorry for me, but I'm not feeling sorry for me. And my mom wouldn't be feeling sorry for me. So this is just, I use metaphors to kind of explain a bigger point. And so I wanted to use the metaphor of my mother, because I think that'll hit somebody. Somebody will be like, whoa, but this is the truth. I smile every day when I think about my mother. And so I really feel that she's here, and her energy is pertaining. It's Vishnu. It's Vishnu. It's that sustaining energy that's just around. So for me, bro, I take the hardships, I throw them in the fire. It's like I take clay, I throw it in the fire, and then I pull the gold out. That's what it is. A lot of people don't know how to make gold out of clay, but it's
No.
possible.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's possible to make gold out of clay. And so a lot of my ways of sustaining this mentality, this frame of thought, has a lot to do with yoga. It has a lot to do with meditation. Has a lot to do with my travels. working with plant medicine, or traveling, in the Amazon, or traveling to the East and being at sacred sites, and being in India, for instance, where you see people who have nothing. Like, well, we think we have nothing, but we have so much. Even the person with a studio apartment here has more than somebody somewhere else, but to that person, they have nothing. And so going places, meeting people, experiencing things, like I said, me and my wife travel a lot, and we love to go to places that, we visit sites, but we also visit other places. We visit orphanages, like we visit orphanages. It's different. So it's really how you're viewing the world and how you move around through it. And so hardships for me are, you know who this guy is?
Oh man. Yes, I've seen him. What's his name?
That's Ganesha.
Ganesha. Yeah, there's a high school in Pomona called Ganesha, and they
Really?
call it Ganesha High School.
That's
I
a good
don't know if
school, all
if you knew that. Right off
right.
the 10
Ganesha,
freeway,
yeah.
man.
So Ganesha is the remover of obstacles. That's how he's known as the remover of obstacles. So you see a lot of people that'll buy a little Ganesha statue and put it in their
Yes.
home or in their altar. And they're like, Ganesha, before they leave the house, I got a job interview today. Oh, Ganesha, get this, get me
Remove
this
the
job.
obstacles. Man.
Hey, Ganesha, Ganesha. And so everybody's praying to Ganesha and asking Ganesha to remove the obstacles, because he's the remover of obstacles, right? But here's the thing, bro. When you start really studying Ganesha and you learn all about him, once you think you know everything about him, there's more to learn, right? And one of the things that you learn about him is that he's not only the remover of obstacles, he is the direct placer of those obstacles. So he places those obstacles for you to grow, for you to learn. So
Mm,
that's a different perspective, right? If I
yeah.
Ganesha is the remover of obstacles, yes, yes, yes. But if I can praise Ganesha as also being the person, the being who placed that obstacle there for me, because if it wasn't for that obstacle, I would still be the same person. This is how we grow, right? This is why they call it getting over the bump, getting over the hill in the road, getting over because you grow from it, because there's something on the other side, and so again, I use Ganesha because he's the remover of obstacles, but he's the placer of obstacles. So again, embracing all those hardships and bringing it forward, and then moving forward, and then taking what's good and the positivity and taking those aspects and then pushing those forward so someone else can receive those gems.
Mm. Wow, man. Yeah, that's powerful, man. It's we always hear about keeping things in perspective, right? You know, I think that's like that what you just said is just profound, man. So profound because uh our perspective is so important, right? How we frame things, how we view it, and you always hear about turning a negative into a positive, and like the way you just framed all that, the way you framed your mom, for example, and that particular incident in your life, and you turned it into a positive. Oh, wow, yeah, no, that. But you know what, the Rama, I think a lot of that is difficult for a lot of people. I think to attain that level of framing and perspective and viewing things in that way. I think it takes practice. Would you say it takes practice? Would you take it takes training, even training, or um, to achieve that level of perspective? You know what I mean? I don't know, man.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's constant. It's not, this is a constant affirmation. You know what I mean? This is a constant affirmation, and you're constantly repeating to yourself. This is where mantra comes in. What's a mantra? Think about it. A mantra is a phrase, a series of words and syllables that have been organized together and to be spoken in repetition, right? Spoken in repetition, and there's a reason why it's spoken in repetition. Like you notice I'm wearing this necklace here.
Yeah.
This necklace has 108 beads on it, right? And you hold it a certain way, and you recite a mantra while you're counting, your fingers are on one of the beads and you recite the mantra, and then you move the beads to the next, you move with your finger, you move it to the next bead until you've recited the mantra, 108 times. You've gone through the whole thing. If you recited each bead is one mantra. 108 times. Now, why will we do that 108 times? Well, I have to tell you that just from experience, the first 20 or 30 of them, you're still thinking about other things. The mantra is designed to bring your attention and focus to one point, right? So let's just use this simple mantra, Om. If we're reciting the mantra Om, 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 right? There's single focus there, right? We're focusing on one thing, and that one thing is Om, right? Om, Om, Om. So by reciting it 108 times, the first 20, 50, 30 times that you say it, you're going to be thinking about, did I leave the stove on? Oh, I got to do this, all these things. But what happens after a certain number is that those thoughts stop. They dissipate. And all of a sudden, you're literally just chanting Om. You don't even recognize that you are until you recognize that you were. So there's a moment that you're like, wait a minute, I was just I was like in it right now, but now I'm back because I'm realizing that I'm not in it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So these are techniques that are designed to bring you towards single pointed focus. Yoga, you practice yoga, you're breathing, you're creating these movements and holding postures while you're using the breath. What do they tell you to focus on? So when your arm is hurting, they tell you to come to the breath. So by the time the instructor has told you 3 or 4 times, focus on the breath, you forgot about the arm hurting, because now, and then once you realize that you forgot about the arm hurting again, now the arm's hurting again, or the leg's hurting, or something else. There's something else, because our attention span is horrible. Humans have horrible attention span. It's the worst. Animals have amazing attention span. Humans horrible. We think we have the best attention span, but we don't. So yes, we have to train ourselves. We have to educate ourselves. We have to find practices. It doesn't have to be this. This is called japa meditation, but it can be so many things. It can be sitting down in front of the ocean, counting the waves. Counting something simple and focusing on this very simple thing that's happening, but with a profound effect on the human psyche. So inside, the mind is processing this smooth repetitive flow and this pattern, and what that does is it teaches you and it changes your body, the structure of your body, so that when you're in a situation, in a business meeting, and people are putting pressure on you, you're just counting waves, bro. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So you're in a business meeting and there's all this pressure and people want you to sign the document and this and this and that. You don't care what they're talking about because you're just counting waves, and you're like, whether or not you're going to sign that paper because you're counting waves. You're just in a whole different vibration.
Yeah.
So all of that takes practice. You're not going to be feeling that in the business room if you didn't sit at the beach and count waves on your free time, because that it's a practice. So there's so many practices, at football. How many times do you have to learn plays? All you do is learn plays over and over. You call the coach, one single name, coach. You know why? You know why you call the coach? So you don't have to worry about what his last name and this and this. So the attention is on football. It's not about the coach, football. You know what I mean? So it's all attention. And yeah, we have to cultivate. We have to, and we have to cultivate with consciousness and authority. Because the mind is pulling us away from all of this. There's so many things that you could be doing or wanting to do than just sitting there counting waves. But counting waves is profound. And again, I'm using the wave counting as a metaphor, but that's profound, and so.
Yeah, man. The mind is a beautiful thing, man. It's a powerful thing. And like you said, it's practice. And I like I said earlier, man, I try to do it every day. I try to, even if it's for 2 minutes, or whatever. I try to meditate, and I find myself, like you said, the attention span, and your mind wants to think and wander and think about, okay, did I, what do I got to do tomorrow? I got to get in. I guess you start thinking about just stuff, right?
Yeah, you start organizing your day.
Yeah,
your meditation. But that's not what the meditation is for. It's to make you forget about the things that you have to organize.
exactly. So so I have to catch myself, right, Rama? I have to catch myself in those while I'm meditating. Say no, I'm just gonna focus on my breath and let those thoughts, like you said, dissipate, just go away. And man, I would love to talk to you about meditation and those tips and how to properly meditate and all that.
Yeah, please, let's have a meditation session,
Yeah,
it'd be awesome.
for sure, man. What's the longest you've ever meditated?
Wow. Well, it depends on what the meditation will be, but I mean, just, personal meditation, I don't know, a couple of 2-3 hours just in a personal meditation where I've been just in a deep trance by myself, in my meditation space, or maybe in India. There's also been other um, meditation type things that go on for longer that I've participated in. So I've done like a 12-hour meditation where it's like you're meditating, but you're chanting. We just had a really amazing holiday, Maha Shivaratri, that happened last week, actually. In Maha Shivaratri, since we were talking about Shiva, is the great night of Shiva. Remember, Maha is great. I was telling you earlier. So
Yeah.
Maha Shiva Ratri. Ratri means night, and Shiva, Maha Shivaratri. So the great night of Shiva. And during that night, people all over the world, devotees of Shiva, devotees of the Sanatana Dharma path, they are chanting to Shiva all night long, from sunset to sunrise. So it's about a 12-hour period of chanting the mantra, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, and sitting upright. So that's like, that's once a year, but there's so many things like that. So there's lots of different types of meditations and different types of things. But yeah, we can explore it together, and then the next and then we'll find out what your longest meditation might be.
Yeah. Oh, definitely, man. But hey, man, I'd like to ask all my guests this one question: who would you love to sit down with? If three people, it could be anyone. Who are three people you listen to sit down with and have dinner with?
Three people to sit, huh? Anyone, past, present, or whatever, huh?
Whatever, man.
Well, I mean, I could go on. I could go into my mind and try to, Bob Marley and this and this and that. But
Yeah.
I think I would really. I love to have dinner with my wife. I make dinner for my wife as much as I can. It brings me a lot of pleasure, and that's and so my wife is definitely part of the three. She's there with me. You know what I mean? And I think the third person is going to be you, bro. I think that's going to be the dinner date right there. Me, my wife, and you, we're going to go get some dinner. And that's what it's going to be right there, so that we could get to know you a little more. And I can find out more about why you started Profile Pod TV and why you do it, and more about your football world and your football life and all that stuff. Because for me, bro, having the thought of having dinner with some person who's passed away, some famous celebrity, or Julius Caesar or whatever, that's all fun and everything. But to me, why stray from what's right in front of you? What's in front of you, and the people that you're around. These are the heroes. These are the celebrities to me. The people that I have something in common with. The people that are searching me out is who I search out. And so yeah, bro, we got a dinner date now. Now that you brought it up,
Hey, thank you, man. That's the first time I've heard that. Thank you, man. Hey, let's do that. No, we got to do it, man. And we'll go out to the West Side somewhere or wherever, man. Doesn't matter. My house, your house, whatever, man. Vegetarian spot, you name it, brother.
Yeah, we got good. I'm gonna take you to a good vegetarian spot. We got some really good veggie spots. Some good stuff. We'll go for Indian food.
Oh man, yeah, got to do it, brother. Got to do it, man.
Please do. And yeah, and again, if anybody wants to find me, if you're interested in knowing more about me, my music, any of the things that I'm doing, follow me at Seer of the Field, SEER OFTHEFIELD at Seer of the Field. And come visit my website, ramamusica.com. Musica with an A at the end. RAMAMUSICA.com. Rama Musica.
There it is, man. No, thank you so much. I didn't even have to ask you that question. And hey, Rama, it's been a pleasure, man. Thank you so much for taking the time. I really appreciate it. We got to do this again, man. You're always welcome back. Let's do a part 2 in the near future, man. Because
that'd be awesome. We could talk film sometime. You know, I'll send you some movies and we can talk about the films, filmmaking process, any of that. You know, like I said, it's all relative, you know. So thank you so much for having me. It was an honor and, you know, truly blessed and really excited for this episode. And again, if, you know, anything I can support for Profile Pod TV, please let me know. You guys are awesome. One love. Thank you. Blessings.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. My man Rama Torres out of Santa Monica, California. Go follow him. Go check him out. You can't lose. He's on the rise. He's going places. He's going places, and it's fun to see where he's going to go. So go check him out. Thank you so much for tuning in right now here on Profile Pod TV. Much appreciated. Again, if you guys support the show by subscribing, rate and review on Apple Podcasts, all that good stuff. Follow us on Instagram, Clubhouse, Twitter. It's all Profile Pod TV. And you know, Double A myself appreciates it greatly, immensely. So for my man Rama Torres, I'm Double A. We'll see you guys next week, right back here on Profile Pod TV. And always remember to take it easy.